Can we have an honest discussion about how the food industry wants to keep all of us fat and unhealthy? That's right, big food companies actually know a ton of manipulative tricks that they use on all of us so we continue to buy their products even though they are not the healthiest things for us. Today, I'm exposing how the food industry is keeping so many of us fat and unhealthy using deceptive marketing tactics, manipulating food science, and even using psychological tricks. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do to outsmart them so you can make real and lasting healthy food choices. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all the videos that I'm posting, and check the link in the description for my free email newsletter, where every Sunday I'm setting you up with all the information you need to live your healthiest life without sending you a bunch of BS or misinformation. Now, let's get into just how bad the food industry wants all of us to stay fat and unhealthy. What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel where we make getting healthy simple so it's actually sustainable for the long term. If you're new here, my name is Educator, and I'm both a personal trainer and food educator with over 18 years of experience helping real people just like you achieve their health goals in a simple and sustainable manner. So like I said in the beginning of the video, the food industry really does not want any of us to stop buying their products. They benefit from keeping us fat and unhealthy and frankly addicted to the products that they sell. And they want to get us as lifetime customers, so they will deceive us with all sorts of tricks, and they will sell us products marketed as being healthy that are very much not at all healthy. These might be products that are full of a ton of sugar, lacking in adequate protein or lacking in fiber, and generally contain a bunch of additives and other components to make them look better, have a certain texture, melt in your mouth, all sorts of things that cause us to be physically and psychologically addicted to the products, and the products do not offer us the health benefits that they claim. And this has gotten so bad that many food companies are starting to be sued. And one of the biggest food companies out there is Pepsi. And Pepsi owns smaller companies, one of which is Gatorade. And if you're like me and you think of Gatorade as the performance drink of athletes, the type of company that puts out products that help you perform your best and keep you healthy, then you are just as gullible as I am, because Gatorade does put out some products that can be beneficial, but they also put out other products that may be perceived as beneficial but are full of a lot of BS. And they've actually been sued because of this. Recently, a judge has ruled that Pepsi is liable for false claims. Back in August, a judge in California ruled that Gatorade and their protein bars, which are labeled as good for you, actually contain more sugar than protein and potentially more sugar than most typical candy bars. Pepsi was also accused that following month in September of violating federal and state consumer protection laws by creating what is known as a health halo around Gatorade bars, and they also include certain assurances like they help your muscles rebuild, or they're used by the pros, and biggest of all, they're backed by science. But here's the thing. These claims are not substantiated by facts, and I'm actually going to show you the Gatorade label and a popular candy bar label just to highlight how deceptive they are being and how misled many of us have been. So here we have one of the Gatorade protein bars. This happens to be the chocolate pretzel flavor. And they highlight right here, front and center, that it's got 20 grams of protein. And that sounds great, but let's look at the rest of the label. Biggest thing right here is the calorie count. One bar is about 350 calories. Keep that number in mind, because when I show you a Snickers bar, you're going to be very shocked. And they're not lying. There is 20 grams of protein in there. But that's not all. Reading the entire label, you got to see the other macros, being the fat and the carbohydrate content, that tell the full story. We go up a little bit to where it says carbs. There's 41 grams of carbohydrate. Are just sugars. that is a lot of sugar in one bar. And 20 grams of protein is less than 41 grams of carbohydrates. So even though in big bold letters at the center of the label it says protein bar, protein comes number 2 since there's more sugar in it. If you ask me, this sounds like a candy bar. There's also 11 grams of fat, meaning that 99 of the 350 calories, roughly a quarter of them, are coming from fat, and only about 80 calories coming from protein. So this bar, the least of the things that it is a protein bar. It has more than double the amount of carbohydrates in it than it does protein, and even still, 26 grams of the carbohydrates are sugars compared to only 20 grams of protein. That's a candy bar, my friend. And 99 of the 350 calories are coming just from fat alone, and only 80 calories are coming from protein. So this isn't a protein bar. It's more likely a fat bar or a sugar bar. Well, let's just call it a candy bar with additional protein. Now, I'm gonna show you a Snickers bar label just to give you some comparison to show you how close the two are. Buckle up, this is gonna be very revealing. So now let's compare it to the Snicker bar to my right. Already, when I look at the total calories, you may as well have a Snickers bar. There are only 220 calories in a Snickers bar, and this is the king size one, so we're talking about the full size bar and not the little trick or treat size. When we go down to protein, yes, there's less protein in this bar. It only has 4 grams of it, but it actually has a little bit less sugar. 23 grams of sugar in this one compared to the 27 in the Gatorade bar. And calories from fat, this one has 11 grams of fat, which is about the same as the Gatorade bar. Total carbohydrates are less because there's 28 grams in it. So at the end of the day, a Snicker bar is potentially a better bar for you. It's lacking about 16 grams of protein that the Gatorade bar has, but it also has less total carbohydrates and less overall total calories. Both bars occupy the same small amount in your stomach, and the little bit of protein that you get from the Gatorade bar will do a minimal amount to calm your hunger down because there's an overwhelmingly larger amount more of sugar from carbohydrates in it, and the more sugar you take in, the more your brain is going to tell you to eat more of it, eat more of it. So you are better off having a Snickers bar instead of the Gatorade bar, which is essentially a candy bar with a little bit extra protein in it. I hope this part was eye-opening for you. If not, stay tuned because in the next segment, I'm going to talk about some of the things to look out for, some of the tactics that they use when it comes to marketing and advertising these products to you. Let's get in the know, hit that like button, and let's go to the next part. The food industry is full of a bunch of trickery and misdirection and optical illusions that make us believe the products we are buying are healthy when they're really just designed to make us buy them, and they really don't have our best interest or health in mind. Let me show you some examples of what many of us see when we go into the store, of words that indicate that something could be healthy, but there's more to it than meets the eye. As you look at this overwhelming display behind me, I'm sure you recognize some of the labels and claims that are on the screen in front of you. The ones that stick out: fat-free, sugar-free, made with organic wheat, heart-healthy, and 100% natural. These all seem to give images and feels of this product is going to make me healthy, it's going to enhance my body's functioning. I should have no second thoughts about purchasing it, consuming it, and feeding it to my loved ones. For instance, like saying sugar-free is an accurate label, but if there's no sugar in the product, in order to make it taste good, they have to add fat. Because there's 2 things that will make most foods taste very good. And these aren't the only 2, but these are 2 of the most common ones. And that's sugar and fat. So if something is sugar-free, it's gonna taste kind of bland. You gotta add some fat to it so it's a little bit more savory, a little bit more creamy, and people buy it. But on the other hand, if you say, hey, it's fat-free, it's gonna be lower in calorie, that stuff's gonna taste about as appetizing as a piece of cardboard, so they gotta add some artificial sweetener, add some sugar, add something in it to make our brains say, eat more, eat more, eat more. So take a good look at these, because some of them do indicate certain aspects that are healthy, but all of them are misleading. If you see right kind of above me and to my right, it says made with real fruit. And yeah, there's real fruit in it that they've stripped down, refined, they've extracted part of the real fruit and converted it into a component of this ultra processed food that you're now serving to your family. So the benefits that would come from eating the whole fruit are not there. You might feel like you're eating the real fruit, or it tastes like you're eating the real fruit, but you're not eating the real fruit. This is not a full spectrum of everything that's out there, but just because it says it's organic or that it has no high fructose corn syrup doesn't mean that it is completely free from harmful products or containing components that are high in calorie or low in nutritional value. I'm going to give you another example of a common food product so that you can see what these labels look like in the wild, and I'll point out to you why these work so well at deceiving us and tricking us into buying the products. So I brought up one of my favorite cereals that I used to eat as a kid, which is Rice Krispies. Looking at the box, beyond just the name of the cereal itself, I'm sure your eyes are drawn almost immediately to that statement that says, now helps support your child's immunity. And it gives statistics that it gives 25% of your daily value for antioxidants and nutrients, including vitamins A, B, C, and E. Sounds good, doesn't it? That's not the whole story. Let's look at the nutritional label, because they want you to just gravitate to the cereal as a source of enhancing your child's immunity. You need this for your kid's immunity. This is an immunity boosting cereal. Well, it's not as good as they may say it is. Real quick, here is the nutritional information from Smart Label. It's a website online that puts up all nutritional information for food products, so you can look it up for yourself. This cereal on the box, they label it as being a very immunity promoting product. It's high enough in vitamins that they need to slap it on the label, and their whole premise is this is going to help with your child's immunity. When your child consumes this food or you eat it yourself, you're only getting about 150 calories, so it's not a very calorie dense food. But that's just it. It's not a very dense food. There's no fat in it. As we go down and we start looking over here at the carbohydrate amount, there's about 36 grams of carbohydrates. That's less than what was in that Gatorade bar that we talked about earlier, but that's the main component of this cereal. It's just carbohydrates. It's just kind of empty carbs, and only about 3 grams of protein. Not enough to really register in controlling hunger. So this is really just a bunch of empty carbohydrates. You or your child is going to eat this. You're going to enjoy the sweet flavor from the 4 grams of sugar in it, but that's just it. You're going to be left feeling empty and you're going to want to consume it again. It's real funny how the food industry promotes cereals like this as part of a balanced breakfast, when there's very low amounts of fiber in it. In fact, there's 0 grams of fiber in it, and the protein amount in it is near negligible. 3 grams of protein is not going to do much to calm your hunger down, and the amount of sugars in it is going to trick your brain into eating more. So again, the food industry is going to overstate one of the perceived benefits of the food, and they're going to downplay all the rest of the negatives or where the food falls short. So my point is, you need to start investigating your foods more. Look more at the labels, not just what's on the front of the box. The front of the box is to capture your attention. It's to draw you in. It's to make you want to buy the product. You need to flip the box over to the back or to the side, wherever the label happens to be, and you have to do a little bit of reading. You need to see what the calorie count is for the servings in the box or the product. Oftentimes, we don't realize that the amount we are eating is multiple servings. Looking at the amount of calories gives you an idea of how much energy you're going to take in. But then you want to scrutinize how much of that energy is made up of carbohydrates versus protein versus fat. Foods that are higher in fat and carbohydrates will taste great, but they won't calm your hunger down. It's the foods that have at least 10 to 20 grams of protein in them and at least 5 to 10 grams of fiber in them. That's going to help you calm your hunger down. So you have to be a bit more diligent when it comes to buying your food. You can't just grab the thing that catches your eye, that claims it's healthy as hell, but it's not going to be as healthy as you realize when it's all said and done. I just wanted to expose you to some of the tricks that the food industry uses to rattle you a little bit so that you become a more conscientious shopper. Let me know your questions, and if this was helpful for you, I will dive even deeper into some of the deceptive tricks the food industry uses. You're now on high alert. You now know what to look for, so start to look more closely at your food before you buy it and ultimately eat it. Put your questions down in the comments below. And again, every Sunday I put out a free email newsletter. You want to stay healthy, you want to not go crazy in the process, you're going to want to get on my newsletter. Head down to the video description, tap the link. It's totally free to sign up for it. You'll get it every Sunday and you'll be a lot healthier because you did. In just a moment, you're going to see a preview for another video from my channel popping up. Give it a watch, get informed, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's keep it simple so your health is sustainable.